Today we're looking at 10 depreciated cars that are super underrated from 10k to 100k price ranges. Let's get straight into it. So let's kick off with a 100k car, the second generation Honda NSX, which has often been named the cheap substitute of modern hypercars that cost 10 times that, but it rarely gets the love it deserves. Not only does it carry a legendary nameplate from the car that was developed alongside Ayrton Senna, it's actually insanely performant because it was also developed alongside a former F1 driver, Takuma Sato, alongside multiple other racing drivers at incredible circuits like VIR, Suzuka and the Nürburgring. It doesn't have the cult following and JDM cultural intrigue of the first gen, but that only comes with time. Part of the hypercar naming comes from its powertrain, a 3.5 litre V6 twin turbocharged engine combined with 3 electric motors to make 572 brake horsepower, taking the car to 60 in 2.9 seconds and to a top speed of 191 miles per hour, which is unbelievably quick for a car that is said to run at around 28 miles per gallon. That engine was also used in the GT3 race version of this car, and it's known to be very reliable too. They listed it for around £90,000. For 100 grand you'll be looking at a 2017 model that's done around 14,000 miles. Let's drop to 90k now and to the third generation Bentley Continental GT, my favourite generation so far for this luxury Grand Tourer. It just looks so good. Where the first and second gen were maybe a bit too bubbly for some people's liking, the third gen looks like the car that hit puberty, dropped some of the young roundedness and became a strong, angular, aggressive looking car. But it's still got that same old hand-built 6-litre twin turbocharged W12 engine, making 626 brake horsepower, the most on this list, taking the car to 60 in 3.6 seconds, meaning it's only second to the NSX in pace on this list. It's probably also the second most speccable car on this list, and second-hand models often come with some seriously cool specs. Bentley offered a bunch of paint and interior colours from base, and you could of course go further with your upgrades by getting the Mulliner spec. 78 grand is the lowest that I could find these listed for, and 90k will get you a 2019 model that's done around 35,000 miles. The air suspension can be expensive to sort if it does go wrong, but that engine is known to be very solid, if a little bit expensive to service and maintain. Now we're on to our 80k car, and probably the car that I would personally take from this list, the Porsche 718 Spyder. I've driven the step down from this, the 718 GTS, out on track at Porsche Silverstone, and it completely changed the way I view Porsche cars. I've driven many Porsches now, mostly 911s, and despite having driven the 992.1 Turbo S and 992.2 Carrera C4 GTS on the exact same track, the 718 GTS is the car that made me smile the most, and the Spyder takes it to another level. It's built for people that love driving with a mechanical diff and parts from the 911 GT3 and GT3 RS, ensuring that it handles beautifully, but you can take the roof off to enjoy the surroundings a little more, kind of like you're in some classic speedster. In fact, the car is genuinely supposed to be driven with the roof down, and its top speed is limited with the roof up. These come with a 4-litre flat-6 engine that makes 414 brake horsepower, taking the car to 60 in 4.3 seconds, and you'll find them starting at around 70 grand, with 80k getting you a 2020 model that's done around 15,000 miles. For our 70k car from this list, we have the Rolls-Royce Ghost, the car that beats the Conti to being the most speccable on the list. The car was built with BMW DNA, sharing much of its platform and parts with the 7 Series, which actually helps you save a bit of cash when it comes to replacing parts. But it's significantly more luxurious than the 7 Series, and before we even get to spec options, this car goes crazy with the coach-style rear doors that open backwards, and of course the market-leading air suspension for maximum comfort. Then you have options like the champagne fridge between the rear seats, the classic Starlight headliner, and the two-tone paint options that provide insane variety on these cars, and you have something genuinely special, despite what the depreciation might tell you. I genuinely think it's mad that these start at around £55,000 at the bottom end, with 70k getting you a 2012 model that's done around 40,000 miles. These come with a massive 6.6 litre twin turbocharged V12 engine, making 563 brake horsepower, wafting it to 60 in 4.7 seconds. Not bad for a car that weighs over 2,300 kilograms. The Aston Martin V12 Vantage is our 60k car in this video, and it simply has to be one of the best sounding Aston Martins of all time, if not one of the best sounding British cars of all time. The Vantage has long provided one of the best value for money exotic cars, with a V8 being available for under 30k and often under 20k even. Then you have the DB9, which offers a cheap entry point into V12 Aston Martin ownership, again for under 30k easily. And then if you had a bit of extra cash, you could buy yourself a DB11, which is a twin turbo V12 and more modern Aston stylings. So the V12 Vantage seems to sit in no man's land, which has helped it to become so underrated, as I do think its rarity and ludicrous sound will help it to reach collectible status sooner than the other cars I mentioned. It comes with a relatively reliable 5.9 litre V12 engine, putting out 510 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 4.1 seconds, and the sound it makes seems to be the focus of pretty much every review on the internet. They start at around £54,000 though, and 60k will get a 2012 model that's done around 50,000 miles. If you're watching this video right now and you're one of the 70% of people that aren't subscribed, do consider subscribing. I make 2 videos every single week. And let me know in the comments down below, what is the most underrated car ever? Love to hear your thoughts. Now we're on to our 50k car, the Lexus LC 500H, short for Luxury Coupe 500 Hybrid. While I can't explain the 500, I can explain the hybrid, as this car comes with a 3.5 litre V6 engine combined with 2 electric motors, putting out 353 brake horsepower, taking the car to 60 in 4.8 seconds, while managing around 35 miles per gallon. This LFA-inspired Grand Tourer is known for its incredible looks. It stands apart from most other cars out on the roads, and yet because of the Lexus badge, it definitely falls into the underrated category. I mean, it's actually incredibly rare. Across all LCs, including the non-H, there are just 564 out on the roads in the UK, and of the H example, just 199. That's fewer than the number of GT3 RSs that were registered in the last year alone. Add on the fact that it was quite a successful race car too, having competed in Super GT, winning 14 of the 24 races it entered in GT 500, and you have a serious car for the money. These start at around £46,000, and for our 50k limit you'll get yourself a 2018 model that's done around 30,000 miles. It's got a super complex transmission, and early examples did have some issues as a result, but warranty should have sorted this by now. The Mercedes S63 AMG is an absolutely stunning car, and I think it's insanely underrated. You'll most likely be getting a pre-facelift within our 40k price range, but regardless of whether it's pre or post, you're getting a range-topping luxury Grand Tourer with some unreal performance and seriously high finish, given the S-Class is renowned for its luxury, technology and build quality. In pre-facelift spec, it comes with a 5.5 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine, making 576 brake horsepower, getting it to 60 in 4.1 seconds, while the facelift got a 4 litre twin turbo V8 instead. Mercedes wanted to build a car that provided driving, emotion and luxury enjoyment all in one, but the car didn't appear to grab the attention of the market, maybe because of the switchback from an S Coupe rather than the CL Coupe. Regardless, I love that the looks hark back to the old SECs with the pillarless side window, and in the right spec these can look pretty mean, just like the old Mercs. They'll run you around 28k at the bottom end, and 40k will get you a 2015 example with 55,000 miles on the clock. Most issues are tech related, which makes sense given they're quite complex cars. I think TVRs are often underrated because they have a bit of history of bad build quality, poor reliability and a bit of mental cult following. But what TVR maybe lack in reputation, they make up for in performance, as they're just known to be unbelievably fast when they're working. The T350C or T in particular I think offers some insane value for money too, as the basis for the stunning Sagaris that had a bit more of a cultural impact with its crazy looks and Top Gear appearance. Just watch out for the early models which, to be fair, were known for multiple reliability issues. I think this car looks pretty new for its age, as it's the oldest car on the list, but it shares its stylings with cars like the Ferrari Roma, even sharing a similar aesthetic. And then you get the bonkers interior too. In true TVR fashion, this car is a ticket into a car club full of passionate owners and into exotic car ownership for under 30k. Comes with a 3.6 litre inline six that puts out 350 brake horsepower, taking the car to 60 in 4.4 seconds with absolutely no driver aids. They're listed anywhere from around £26,000, and you'll find one with 60,000 miles on the clock under 30k. A car that has similar design language to the T350 in terms of shape is this, the Maserati Granturismo S, which for sub 20k takes on cars like the F-Type S that I mentioned in my previous video with a more Italian flair. And it's actually a proper Grand Tourer too, where the F-Type is a little bit more focused on being a sports car. And though both cars look good, Maserati always know how to make a good noise out of a V8, plus it's V8 versus V6, and even as a V6 owner, the 8 might have to win. That V8 is also the same one you'll find in the Alfa Romeo 8C alongside multiple Ferraris like the 458. It's a 4.7 litre V8 to be exact that makes 433 brake horsepower, taking them to 60 in 4.8 seconds, not bad at all. The S came with a facelift as well as that slightly larger engine, which helped the car to look and feel a little bit more modern both outside and in, and though the non-S is even cheaper, these start at around £18,000 with 20k getting a 2011 model with 65,000 miles on the clock. They are however known for oil leaks, electrical issues and some corrosion issues too. We're cutting the budget for the final time now to £10,000 to an underrated hot hatchback, the Subaru Impreza WRX STI Type UK. This car sacked off the saloons that the Impreza badge had been known for and followed the World Rally Championship trend of hatchbacks being the way forward. Sadly, this car was the last one to enter the World Rally Championship under the brand's backing before they bowed out, which is a bit of a shame considering the saloon was named the most iconic car in WRC history. But outside of its failure in WRC and its controversial removal of the saloon boot, I do think this car looks great. It's a proper rally car for the roads, and the most similar hatch that I can think of is the GR Yaris, which as I showed in my review is an absolute beast. The engine sounds great, but it's not known to be reliable. It's a 2.5 litre turbocharged boxer 4, making 295 brake horsepower, taking the car to 60 in 5 seconds, but it's known for piston ringland failure, rod bearing failure, head stud failure, and oil leaks. 8 grand is the lowest that I could find them listed for, and 10k will get you 2009 model that's done around 80,000 miles. Now you've seen this, definitely check out my review of the Bentley Mulsanne, which is a cheaper substitute for the Ghost. Thanks for watching. To the patrons, their support. I'll see you in the next one.